Well, I have more news up here at Desawa and Kanda. This is News 360. I am Alfred Okansi.
And I am Portia Gabo. Coming up, the headlines.
Tonight, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta makes some adjustments to the 2022 budget statement, but he maintains that e-levy is still at 1.75%.
Meanwhile, a government shutdown is imminent as Finance Minister races against time to beat December 31 expiration of 2021 budget.
We'll tell you how commercial transport operators divided as we speak over strike as commuters haggled through to reach their destination.
Also coming up tonight, maiden national standardized tests for class 4 pupils nationwide slated for Friday, December 17.
And on the international front, this evening, South Africa's hospitals jammed with Omicron patients as President Cyril Ramaphosa urges South Africans to get vaccinated. We have details of these and more, including sports and entertainment, in the next 60 minutes here on News 360. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Let's get into our first story this evening. As the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has dismissed claims that an agreement has been reached with a minority on the controversial e-transactions levy at 1.75%. The minority side had accused the minister of reneging on an agreement on the e-levy, among other things, leading to the budget deadlock. At a media briefing here in Accra, Ken Ofori-Atta noted the proposed 1.75% tax would have a significant impact on the country's fiscal situation.
The e-levy, the Japan Minerals royalty deal, AKE GMPC finance and unemployment remain the critical issues raised by the minority side, causing an unprecedented budget deadlock. Ken Ofori-Atta denied an agreement on the most contentious e-levy, described as the elephant in the room, had been reached.
The e-levy is still 1.75. We are in serious consultations, keeping clear about the fiscal implications of what it will mean. One of the questions that we need to face as a country is that, are we paying enough taxes? And is everybody paying taxes? The fiscal implications of the e-levy are very clear to us as to how we get these resources to do the work that I have mentioned. And so the consultations are still going on.
On the Keta disaster, Ken Ofori-Atta announced a budget allocation of 10 million cedis on the Japan deal. The Minister of Finance has committed to amend details and represent.
With regards to a Japan Royalties Limited, we shall amend paragraphs 442 and 443 to take out reference to mineral royalties collateralization. It's important to note that any reference to a Japan was for information purpose and as such was not reflected in the fiscal framework of the budget.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, stood by his position that any further challenges needed to be addressed at the committee level and expressed optimism that government will enjoy the support of the House when it presents its appropriation bill.
In a related development, the Finance Minister has been responding to accusations by MP for North Ton, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, that the collection of the e-levy has been designated to a third-party contractor who stands to benefit an amount of 241 million cedis for e-levy transaction services specified on page 242 of the 2022 budget.
There's no agreement with anybody at GRA or Ministry of Finance as to a service provider for this. But quite a number of local Ghanaian companies who helped us with Ghana.gov, have been approached to look at this problem to ensure that we we establish it, a lot more firmly, and we do not lose resources in that. So we hope that GRA's platform that they have already may make this quite superfluous in the long run.
Stay a bit further on this, because the deadlock amongst the 137 NDC MPs and the 137 NPP MPs with the independent candidate might not be resolved for a smooth passage of the estimate bills and appropriations of the 2022 budget, as both sides of the House hold on to these entrenched positions they've had over the period. A government shutdown is imminent as the finance minister races against time to beat the December 31 expiration of the 2021 budget. Komakluche reports.
We have always put across to the executive that it is important during the process of the preparation of the budget to engage Parliament earlier, because as representatives of the people, we need to make inputs at that level and make sure that the policy priorities of the country, particularly looking at our development paradigm, are complied with. The budget is usually prepared and then thrust on Parliament about a month to the end of the year, and we are asked to process and pass it. This is the stage we have got to.
The bane of the deadlock of the 8th Parliament, as described by the Speaker Alban Sumana Bagben, the past week has seen acrimonious parliamentary proceedings with no end in sight for the sharply divided legislature. The minority has tabled a 5-point demand that it's seeking to be immediately considered, a position it's holding on to firmly, unabated. Contradictions, however, has hit their front.
I was no, who would accept e-levy, but having listened to officials in government, including the Minister of Finance and Charles Edubuahin, I was convinced to accept a departure from my original law to accepting a 1% e-levy for the good of the Ghanaian people.
A claim they firmly deny, with a swift release stating their resolve to outrightly reject the budget if the 5 pointers are not considered in a concession documented.
3 weeks after the presentation of government's 2022 fiscal policy documents, it remains unclear the way forward. Both sides of the House have marshaled their members for what could be described as a showdown any day, any time, as the clock ticks for the expiration of the 2021 document. But a 20-member bipartisan team put together by the legislature is raising wait time as the House has reached a deadlock. But if the explicit directives of the President to his ministers, who double as members of Parliament, and their deputies who are MPs as well, for them not to travel out of the country for at least a month is anything to go by. It clearly tells you that the majority may probably not be considering consensus, but hearing numbers is what it's strictly going to be depending on going forward. Komakluche, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's now focus on transport, because some commuters remain stranded despite the directive by GPRTU officials to call off the strike action. We'll cross over live to 37 transport station, where my colleague Lord Eduasari will be standing by to give us live updates. Lord. Lord is Lord will be bringing us updates from 30 lorry terminal, where some commuters are still stranded despite that directive from GPRTU officials to call off the strike. Early on, we saw many government officials, many workers stranded, as many transport operators simply refused to take them and their buses. And very soon we'll cross over to the 37 lorry terminal for live updates from Lord Edu Sorry, but earlier in the day, commuters in different parts of Accra were stranded after some commercial transport operators parked their vehicles in protest over the constant fuel price hikes, and the intervention by the police also did little to calm passengers who obviously were frustrated. But the GPRTU issued a statement early on asking them to call off the strike action for passengers to be relieved. And before we cross over to Lord, early in the day, commuters in different parts of Accra were stranded after some commercial transport operators parked their vehicles in protest over constant fuel price hikes, and the intervention by the Ghana Police Service did little to calm frustrated passengers. Let's now cross over live to Lord Eduasari from 37 Lorry Terminal.
Commuters joining buses to their respective homes. Well, that is not a case here right now because of the strike action by the driver unions across the country. You notice that several passengers today were trekking to their various locations. I have with me a passenger who, but for some reason, he's been able to get a car. Bema, what's your name?
I'm Peter.
Peter?
Yeah.
How did you go to work today?
Today it was a bit hectic. In fact, we are unaware of the entire thing. So it just hit us. We just got to where we're supposed to get a car, and then the whole place was chaos. So we're just struggling, and then by the grace of God, we're able to come to work.
But I see that this evening you are here, you are going to join the bus. Are you aware that you get a car, or you are just come to try your luck?
As it looks, we actually don't know when they're going to end this strike, whatever they're talking about. But we just try to see if we'll be able to get a bus home.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Ashaman.
Ashaman.
Yeah.
So you've spoken to some drivers and they've told you the bus you can take?
Yeah, before my company car dropped me off here, I make sure I ask somebody that are they still working or they're not working. And I make sure there's a car going to Ashaman. So I decided to alight in and join that car back home.
Okay. So you would recall that the GPRTU earlier issued a directive about the suspension of the strike. And so because of that, the drivers here at 37, there are two branches of the GPRTU, 1 and 2. They have resumed operations. I'll be speaking to the station master to tell me how things have been since they resumed. Nana, it's saying, Mr. Bossing. Great. Time and Mute said the strike has been called off. What time did you eventually start working?
Yes, a boy and a pabe 69 year information sharing your chairman saying called strike off. But now we are very disappointed because the region chairman says we I don't know some say called strike off. I was meaning how you come and you come. You see, look at the full year talk in the up to now, most of you say you go strike. That's a Muslim because say you strike in Korea. No, before we boy anything. Until me to me, I'm very disappointed with my region chairman. Yes.
So what are you going to do about it? I see that the cars are already loading. All those several passengers are really not here.
Yes, because region chairman can say. Most of the drivers didn't say air strike. Maybe I'm Major until 6 o'clock now. Ranger Chairman cars, never brings up a bag of cars. And I want my mountain so people were smashing with scream, beating drivers and meat. So that there's only say about Bakunia. There's only say there's all the car, said by the kind of Benya.
I see. So moving forward, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to resume as regularly as you normally do?
Well, once the real chairman according strike off there, maybe tomorrow we will start working on tomorrow.
You did say that you are disappointed with everything, but don't you care that people have begun to walk to their destinations and people wouldn't have been able to go home?
It's true, but if you look at the way how we are suffering for the fuel prices, it's true. So at least the GPRTU also must sit down with the government to negotiate. No say you never for you bread, never buy no on the fuel and so the buyer mama you want to because because there's going to be another action against the government because so the end of the day, almost 3 times you have to phone.
There's a clear division as we see, but we're picking information that the leadership of these drivers' unions are in a crunch meeting at the presidency as we speak to determine what the way forward will be with respect to the strike.
Let's see how earlier in the day commuters in different parts of Accra were stranded after some commercial transport operators parked their vehicles in protest over constant fuel price hikes, and the intervention by the police did little to calm frustrated passengers.
From Ablekuma, Malam Junction and Odoko, passengers waited in vain for commercial vehicles whose drivers had refused to work. It was same at La Paz, Atomic Junction and Medina as more passengers expressed frustration over the situation.
We are writing exams today and we can't get any car to go to school, so I have to go and see.
Realize that no car is working, none of the buses, nothing. I feel very bad because I do understand what they are doing, the youth are doing, the drivers are doing. But in all, what do you have to say? You have nothing to do because we've already created our own thing, but still, things are not going on well.
I go to my office. So to get a car to Kasua, surely it's going to be difficult. Since I've been here, I've not had any Kasua. There's another Kasua station behind where we normally pick a straight car to. And a lot of people are there, but there's no bus. I was even thinking of maybe pick a cracker and get to Shashi and see maybe from Shashi if I could get moto, and I will continue to Jolo.
I'm going to 37 Military Hospital.
So how long have you been at the bus stop?
For an hour now, and we are not getting car. The driver said they won't go because of the increments of the fuel. If you don't get car, we don't have any other option than to go back home.
At Ablekuma, some drivers were picked up by the police for blocking the roads. The Gas Central Municipal Chief Executive, Bashiru Mohammed, justified the police's action.
Was a woman, I believe she was taking her newly born baby to the hospital. He opened the door and was going to attack the newly born baby. The police rushed in and he injured one of the policemen. We can't sit down and allow just some few people to hijack the security of the area, to refuse to allow people to move about, going about their normal duties. That one, I don't think it should be tolerated.
The GPRTU in an earlier statement had asked its members to suspend the strike. In the other regions, the situation was different as their counterparts defied the directive pending a meeting between the presidency and the driver unions.
Well, let's see if the earlier communication by the GPRTU to its members that the strike had been called off made any difference at all getting into the late hours of the day. Commuters at the Circle Odona station remain stranded as only a few commercial drivers have heeded to the GPRTU's directive to suspend the strike. My colleague Judith Awachitando reports many have been standing in long queues, we understand, for hours as we speak.
It's evening rush hour. Commuters often board commercial buses at the Circle stations.
Commuters have been waiting in line for hours now with an iota of hope that drivers will change their minds.
We're standing here for about 2 hours or so. The cars are not coming, so we don't know what to do.
And have the drivers told you anything?
No, nothing at all. Nothing.
They've told you they are not going to move their cars or anything?
No, they didn't say anything, but we are just here, like we are waiting for them to come, but there's nothing here.
Yes, please. And it's very frustrating because getting to the office is very tired for you. You are always tired to get to the office. You have to struggle with people before you get into a trosky and all this stuff. Yeah, so it's very embarrassing and very I don't know how to say it, but we're all fighting for the best, but we think right now it's like we don't have any hope again.
You know, it's a bit frustrating, and then we are tired. We want to go and rest for tomorrow, but because there's no car, we have to wait.
Despite the obvious expressions of frustration on the faces of commuters, drivers say they want government to address their grievances.
Toll booth no muchemu. Sakomo di toll booth no ebe supportu ye oil. Emo mu yi oil no so edi mayenya. Aka driver for beba be yejuma.
Although a few drivers have started picking passengers, it is uncertain when the industrial action will come to an end. Judith Awotritando, TV3 News.
Away from transport, the Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service have scheduled Friday, December 17 for the maiden national standardized test for Class 4 pupils nationwide. According to the Sector Minister, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, the one-day exam is designed to generate requisite data for any needful intervention.
A total of 470,768 primary 4 pupils from 15,391 public schools nationwide have been registered to take the maiden national standardized test in 2,850 examination centers. Each center will host 200 pupils. Candidates will be tested on proficiency in English and in mathematics.
The first time we get a national data on individual students is when they take the BEC. That is 11 years after they begin their education journey. At that point, it's too late to do intervention. Whatever they did or did not do is done. They have to move on to senior high school. There has been a call to action that we streamline our assessment process and also ensure that we have critical data that will help us do intervention.
The Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, however, dismissed assertions that pupils are performing poorly because schools have not been resourced.
If anybody tells you that there are no teaching and learning materials in the classroom, then he's not telling you the truth or doesn't really know what is going on. There were learner packages that were put together at the time of the implementation of the curriculum, and therefore teachers have something to use in teaching and learning. But in spite of that, if you were to even assume that they didn't have the full complement of textbooks, this is the reason why we even need to do this assessment, so that we can identify the deficiency and solve the problem.
Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Opoku Amankwa, said the NST has been designed to aid in grading pupils.
The grading will not come in the form of first, second, third, etc. The grading will come to let us know the areas where we need to improve on, the areas where we are doing better, the areas where we should concentrate on the teachers and their approaches and methodologies, the areas that should go to us as the overall supervisors, what we need to do to improve on teaching and learning, so that at the end of the day, we ensure that by the time they get to their final year and they are writing their final exams, as many of them as possible are able to sail through.
The results of the exam will be released early next year. The national standardized exams will be administered annually to all basic 2, 4, and 6 pupils.
The 4 juveniles charged with the abatement of murder in the Konongo Odumase Senior High School stabbing case have been discharged by the Konongo District Court. The prime suspect is, however, has been remanded following a prima facie case against him.
The 4, though have been discharged, will now serve as witnesses in the case. The court, presided over by Her Worship Joyce Bamfo, also directed the Ghana Education Service to get the students back to school. But headmaster of Konongo Dumase Senior High School, Benjamin Kwekuba, says the safety of the students is not guaranteed, hence the need to send them to another school.
Relocating them back to Konongo Dumase Senior High School will be a recipe for chaos because the case is still fresh in the minds of the students. Then besides the accused 5 boys, the stigma that would surround them, we felt that the boys must be relocated to another school. And I've spoken to my regional director of education, who is more than prepared to relocate them, if not one school, to other schools, so that the student could continue their education.
Regional Police Prosecutor Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji said the advice came from the Attorney General.
The advice came from the AG after they analyzed the total evidence that is put before them. Based on facts and the law, they came out with the findings. And the findings was that the 5 constituent elements of murder has been established against the first accused person. And then the others, the evidence was not too cogent, but we can use them as prosecution witnesses.
Counsel for the accused is Richard Edu Dakun.
From the advice of the AG, the court has discharged A2 to A5, that is the 4 accomplices that were charged together with the main accused person. So as it stands now, these 4 people who were charged with the abatement of the offense of murder has been discharged and they are going home. But the police is going to treat them as witnesses.
The case will be moved to the High Court in Kumasi at the next adjourned date on Monday, December 13.
So live here on News 360. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com.
We have business news coming up shortly with Della Michelle. Don't go away.
I'm going to interview Zuzum right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat 2. I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
Can you picture? John, boy, I don't know.
Is that not your wife?
Every time your children are falling sick, you don't have money.
Stop, everyone! Baby. What's the TV for tonight? You know I like that sweet-scented insecticide spray. Little bit of the porch. Now do we have a living room hall? Bedroom, what do you hear? Me love you, me baby. Of course, I take very good care of my wife and children, so I always win. If you want to protect your family against mosquitoes, there's still this sweet-scented perfume coil now. I repel mosquitoes. I know a man who say baby. And the spray, also sweet-scented. It kills all crawling and flying insects. Heaven insecticide. Oh, sharp no. Prevention is always better than Maunsanka or Heaven insecticide spray. And in the coil, it's a heaven dear.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Mama Josie.
Fair.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Choco toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Get digi with it. Get digi with it. On your mark, ready, set, let's go. CB, Mobile, USSD, Young Co. Star 924 hash. Funko the go. Smartphone no, young phone no. Ever fire money transfer. For your water bill, for your light bill. Factor credit. Star 924 hash. You deserve it. Let's go. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash. Get digi with it. Star 924 hash.
CBG is empowering you to get digi with CBG Mobile. Simply dial star 924 hash and get digi with it.
CBG, we stand with you.
Hey Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke.
fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu. You and your fufu.
But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back. Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I love football. Football can be a dirty game, on or off the pitch. Even when I'm trying to score at a party, stains find a way of tracking me down. But I don't worry at all, because I have Cleasoft. Use new Cleasoft 360 Deep Clean, a unique formula with active ingredients and enzymes that gets rid of all stubborn stains and leaves your clothes smelling wonderful.
Cleasoft, my favorite.
Cleasoft 360 Deep Clean, clean all.
Top of your game with Visa. Pay with Visa and win a 2-night staycation for 2 at a luxury hotel. AFCON is proudly brought to you by Visa.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN, Roma Insecticide Spray and Coil, Universal Merchant Bank,
Lufat.
Hello there, good evening. Now time to bring you the latest in the world of business. My name is Della Michelle. Over 700,000 public sector workers, including doctors, nurses and teachers, will not receive their salaries beginning January 2021 if the appropriation bill is not passed before Parliament rises on December 17. According to Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, the consequences of the delay in passing a budget is dire and could cause government to shut down.
With approval of the budget secured on 30th November 2021, we should now move on to the urgent task of working towards the passage of the appropriation bill before Parliament rises on December 17, 2021. We believe that the concerns raised in Parliament on the 2022 budget should be resolved during the discussions of the budget estimate of MDAs, other government obligations and bills at the committee level in Parliament, as we have always done. The full consequences of not passing a budget are serious. This would imply that from 1st January 2022, for government to continue work, we will need to obtain parliamentary approval to spend in advance of appropriation. Other than that, the entire government will have to shut down, which would mean, to name a few, no salaries for the almost 700,000 public sector workers, including nurses, doctors, teachers, personnel of the security services, no government services and other expenditures, including payment of contractors, uncertainties in the business environment, and pressure on the currency leading to currency depreciation. Furthermore, would have incurred devastating damage to our fiscal consolidation program, debt sustainability, and international capital markets credibility.
Let's do more stories. As for hailing apps, it's been a good day as drivers have since morning doubled their sales due to the high demand of their services following the strike by some commercial transport operators.
The Osu Papaya stretch within the hours of 8 a.m. and 12 noon. This zone is actually known for ride-hailing drivers who park here to get services, render services to commuters. And following the strike action by the commercial transport drivers, that is the Cho-Cho drivers, it seems it's a field day for these ride-hailing apps, i.e. Bolt, Uber, Yango, etc. Their absence here should mean a lot.
The demand is high, and anytime the demand is high, then the prices also goes up. So for me, it's working.
Every Monday, Uber driver price normally go up. That's how it is. Sometimes a double.
Oh, so far I've picked about 15, and by this time the regular
I might be around 5. So your money is good since there is no throttle moving.
The business is moving faster and the prices are higher a little bit, but still that's not what I want. I want the full price to reduce down.
How much have you made so far?
Oh, I've doubled my money. I've passed 200.
And for the commuters, they have no choice but to use the services of these ride-hailing apps.
So I was like, one order year was like 18 cedis. So how come I'm paying 60 cedis? So like, I was like, I'm not going to put. He was trying to create a scene, so I have to keep in the 60 cedi by all costs.
So it's obvious prices have shot up astronomically, and they say as demand rises, the prices also go up. For these commuters, they are ready to pay any amount because the public transport is unavailable. Nana Ekia Mensa Brampa, TV3, Osu, Oxford Street.
Whilst it's been a good day for some drivers are actually facing the consequences of their action today. We'll bring you more update on this particular development. But away from that, the Scotch whisky, Johnnie Walker, has premiered a new feature to showcase inspiring stories of young creative Africans turning the attention of the world to the continent. The documentary is a platform to celebrate bold creative Africans changing lives.
The project is the first of its kind that Johnnie Walker is embarking on in Africa in an ongoing global rollout of a next chapter in their iconic Keep Walking campaign. Johnnie Walker sets out to explore what the spirit of Keep Walking means for creatives and change makers today. The documentary features more than 20 defiantly optimistic voices from across Africa, including African artists, fashion, music icons, among others.
We want to celebrate creatives across this continent who are taking bold steps and really making sure that they don't stand still, they don't give up. And it was such an incredible opportunity for us to be able to create a platform like this that is able to tell these in-depth, authentic conversations and stories about creatives across this continent.
Ghana's self-taught artist Nana Dansuewa Asante, featured in the documentary, noted his association with the Johnnie Walker project opened doors for him.
I'm a storyteller with my work, so it's very important to follow brands that tell stories. And I feel like Johnnie Walker was doing a great job with that with the movie, so it was a great thing to be a part of.
The former Johnnie Walker giant, Prince Kofi Amabing, lauded the initiative.
Talent abounds in Africa, and people are stepping out with their own talent to change the world and to give people hope. And Johnnie Walker has identified it and is pushing it to the core.
The documentary will be aired in 16 African countries.
And that's all the business news we have for you this evening. There's more business news available on 3news.com. My name is Della Michelle. Thierry Nyan is standing by with the latest in the world of sports. Please stay tuned.
In a world where you can be anything, who will you become? When you can go anywhere and never be alone, how far will you go? When your voice can reach every ear in the world, who will you inspire? When your money can travel faster and further, who will it reach? When you can tell a story in every language, which one will you tell? When you don't need permission to turn your dreams into reality, you go for it. Whatever it is, wherever it is, go. And when you think you've reached your limit, we'll keep you going. Let's go.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products and technology, These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
The show was a jar of bar and a dim.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat. Lufat.
In Jija, who malaria and come to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a coupe.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat, a two malaria sententem. FDA, Ashasa, a deadly cratway, Ajatum say.
Royal Aroma has introduced fortified rice that contains iron, vitamin B3, B6, B9, B12, and zinc. And what is more, these nutrients remain in your rice even after washing and cooking.
Yay!
Yay! Isn't it heavy? Where are you going with the bag?
No, I can carry it. I want to show it to my friends.
New Royal Aroma fortified rice for you and your family. This advert is FDA approved.
Pepsodent Nature Essentials, charcoal, and lemon essence restores natural white teeth, herbal extract for strong teeth and healthy gums, antibacterial toothpaste that protects you and your family, because every smile matters.
Whether you like it or not, the dryness and dust is coming. And this time, it might not give up that easily. But do the people have the power to shake it off?
Well, of course they do, and you do too. Kick dry skin to the curb and get smooth, intensely nourished skin with Nivea's deep moisture lotions and lip balm.
Give your skin the love it deserves and kick dry skin to the curb. Get free Nivea lip care with purchase of select Nivea body lotion.
Should you rumor to me?
Tonton Master, Roma insecticide spray at Roma. Interfere, Entatia, make a cheha. No way! Shemikunu, and Tonton Bako crown fanamo. And also a pussy. Roma insecticide spray and mosquito quell. And I would dare be a sham. Roma and
Roma and Tonton Master.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Cal Kids Toothpaste,
Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG.
All right, so time for the sports here on News 360 with me, Theo Nyan, and we start locally, where King Faisal came on top against rivals Asante Kotoko at Bayara Sports Stadium as fans were treated to another enthralling clash between Kumasi's top two clubs. But it was Zubairu Ibrahim who ended up deciding the contest with his hat-trick. A bliss it was for Kotoko, who got catapulted to the top of the standings by a reality check for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who suffered their first defeat of the season.
The significance of King Faisal's brilliant victory hopes of a successful transition. Out of last season's difficulties into this season's blossom, the gains cannot be underestimated. Faisal took advantage of the gaps in the Kotoko team to break their invincibility. Notwithstanding the loss, board member of Kotoko, Joseph Yawadu, sees this as a blip and hopes the technical team will right the wrongs.
Since we were lacking as far as tackling was concerned on the right side of defense, so I believe the coach will sit up and rectify things for us. They shouldn't be discouraged because the game, it's a game. We don't expect to win all your matches. They should ginger themselves up for the next match because the battle is not yet ended. And we shouldn't expect to win all matches. No, that is impossible because every team is also preparing to play.
For King Faisal, these are pleasant signs for bankroller Alhaji Abdul Karim Goza.
I told TV3
Without Ibrahim, we are going to beat Kotoko.
Yes.
Without Sarkodia, we are going to beat Kotoko.
Yes.
We beat them.
Yes.
This is King Faisal. This year, we raise the team to trophy. Inshallah, we reach there.
Yes.
Kotoko will be eyeing a return to winning ways on week 8, with their trip to Hatfield on match week 7 postponed. King Faisal hope to continue their good form as they host the Elmina Sharks this weekend.
All right, now Hearts of Folks' exit from the CAF Confederations Cup has raised the very often asked question about how good Ghanaian clubs are for now in the African club competitions and whether it can actually get better. Here's a news desk report on that matter.
Become a familiar story for Ghanaian clubs in African interclub competitions. Win at home, get battered away. And recent league champions Accra Hearts of Oak have not shied away from this rhetoric. On Sunday, they were beaten in Algeria by JS Sora, who overturned a 2-0 deficit in Accra and secured passage to the next stage of the competition. Hearts were undone by the brilliance of the Algerians, but it wasn't the first time this season that they have been outplayed. The Phobians were beaten by WAC of Morocco in the Champions League by an even greater margin to inflict wounds and add to a very sour record in North Africa. So how can Ghanaian clubs get better at this stage? Sports journalist Owusu Bempa believes Ghanaian clubs need a paradigm shift.
If you really mean to compete and not just participate, as we've been doing the last couple of years, then it's time for us to invest. The investment will get you not to sell your quality players very early. Look at a player like Kwame Poku, for instance. He played just less than 10 games, scored about 7 goals, and is on his way to Algeria. But those days when Haas and Kotoko were actually competing, in the 1980s, even as late as the 2000-2004, players could stay for as long as 3-4 years, get the necessary experience and maturity, and be able to compete with the best on the continent.
The gap is wide, and it will take some work to close it, but with a concerted effort as a country, football on the club level in Africa can be better again, like the 80s and the late 90s were.
All right, now an outstanding display of golfing rocked the Ghana Commercial Bank Classic Golf Competition at the Buknam Kim Golf Club at Air Force Officers Mess in Accra. After hours of a fierce 18-hole contest among 84 male golfers and 23 ladies, a 66 net score handed Eric Ofusuhene and Irabna Asante the topmost prizes in the male and female categories.
The event forms part of the bank's annual strategy of empowering both professional and amateurs in the golf fraternity. Young Ricky Hertubis, 15 years, finished in 3rd place with a net score of 67, losing the 2nd position by just a stroke. Eric Ofusuhene walked home with the biggest prize of the GCB Bank Classic Golf Competition, hitting a net score of 66 with a handicap of 11 and a gross of 77.
So I've seen GCB Bank sponsors a couple of games, and I'm happy to see them here, and I believe all of you can witness a very big tournament. Ghana Open happens to be the biggest of it all as Celebrity Golf Club, so I just continue and put my target on it.
In the ladies category, Irabna Asante won with a net score of 61, a handicap of 28 and gross score of 89. Hajia Zinabu Akoto recorded a net score of 62, and Center of the Earth Golf Club ladies captain Helen Appa recorded a net score of 63, securing a 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. Deputy Managing Director of Operations GCB Bank, Emmanuel Lamte, highlighted the company's quest to support sports and their clients' banking needs from all fronts.
GCB has over the years supported Ghana's economic development. We have been with individuals, providing them with financial well-being. We are excited to be part of this tournament, and we look forward to supporting golf at this place and also supporting sports in general.
The bank's contribution to sports development forms part of the 5 key thematic areas of its corporate social responsibility.
All right, so that'll be all for the sports here on News 360 with me, Thierry Nyan. Remember, Sports Station comes up later at 9 p.m. The news continues.
ye Jack Macron no mo. It you chana kase there. Hey yo kontomre. Udokni tomato sauce o ye bebre. And a sardine for box with salad here. Hey yo stew and a jollof. Na better one. That don't know it though. Auto that. And the ball here, or makes a bunny a doa. You want a soy sauce, check for inside, or more tasty. And a big beans for the breakfast. Let's all a salad, oh, she and a tuna. We can puffle. Let's all a salad in the oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer for box with so kinsey, oats, not cremitino. You and a spaghetti. Talia Poppy. Mansunin Sijadu Re. Nafa and a spaghetti the goo. Who and a patalia no I ready for watching on you with you. So I no pa no so
Dem Deruboy FBA Ashishum Ajatu.
Global is the app that brings you anything you want, like some crispy chicken and ending the day in a big way, or what you need from the supermarket right away. Order a Glovo and we'll deliver.
What do you see? A couple of keys? Well, yes, but we see the value beyond that. We see the keys to your family road trips and the keys to where your kids sleep at night. But regardless of how much we value our homes and cars, most of us insure just our cars. Introducing Homeprehensive, a single insurance policy for both your car and home. Get Homeprehensive from Vanguard, because when it comes to insuring your car and home, for boom prekon.
And a drew meso some dear was yen. Omo mujaje a dear beer obey and no so beba hobby.
I was a would deep run to school for from
Sam no so do.
Debbie sister, want to mendra sister.
I was a winyako could draw when she ye beer obey you. Impos and nipanina when yaji. Emum, a dear bako when you naji to know what Jan and what dead and any sham papa beer. I want to draw room. And if any said your paste in a pea, not fiber, any vitamins I can't want it. Tasty Tom and rich tomato mix me with sienna in Ediania ed day. A sansoma or ding. Tasty Tom and rich tomato mix. Strength comes from within.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water, one for life. For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
See, you gotta have a smile, no matter what it takes. Then you gotta take perk down, love the way it tastes. The perk keeper from your toes to your face. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today.
Perk up anywhere, even at home, with the rich milky taste of Peck biscuits. This advert is FDA approved.
Bronya is coming. Who is your Santa? Bronya is coming. Where is your Santa? Your friends are getting money. You are so broke. Ekoso, for the phone. Ekoso, for the phone. Ekoso,
This festive season with the Vodafone Air Castle promo. Claim your share of 2 million Ghana cedis worth of prizes in cash, airtime, and data whenever you recharge. Earn red coins after every top up and dial *533# or go to my Vodafone app to redeem your reward. No draws, no sign up. Oh, be a winner. Terms and conditions apply. Vodafone Santa and Joe Cosso.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Vodafone, Awake Purified Drinking Water. Amanite Kirkufu and in entertainment this evening, VGMA Artist of the Year Dinah Hamilton is on a mission to build a 5-unit classroom block for pupils of the Dodo Tamale DA School at KJB in the Oti region. Pupils at the school are without classrooms and take their lessons sitting on the floor. Dinah Hamilton Foundation, the charity arm of the Singers Ministry, is leading the charge to make a difference in the lives of the pupils.
It's been a great year of unprecedented success and achievement for Dinah Hamilton and her ministry. The singer on Sunday night held a fundraiser dubbed Dine with Dinah to thank fans for their loyalty throughout the years and to solicit support for her foundation's next project, the construction of a 5-unit classroom block and the provision of desks and other materials to support teaching and learning in the Oti region. The renowned gospel songstress said she was heartbroken after watching a video which showed pupils of the Dodo Tamale DA school in KJB sitting on the floor to take lessons.
It was either building a hospital for a community or something else. And then I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw these children, and that was it for me. That was God telling me that these children need this kind of help. Because when I saw them, the Oti region, and I was 2 years, my father was transferred to the Volta region then, called Kwame Pumba, now is the Oti region. And I remember my brother used to carry his chair on his head, went with his bowl. So Sam loved school. And fast forward 40 years later, Sam is a doctor. And so when I saw the kids, I just knew that there were a lot of Dr. Sams there that we don't know, because the beginnings might be little, but greater is he that is in us. And great things will happen with these children.
Attendees, including revered men of God, statesmen, top politicians, media personalities, and business executives, gave out monies to support the DH Foundation execute the project. The gospel star and changemaker was overwhelmed by the great outpour of love and support. Patrons of the charity fundraising dinner had an awesome experience as the hitmaker excited them with spirit-filled acoustic performances of her classics. The VGMA Artist of the Year, who turned a year older on December 4th, also seized the moment to outdoor her latest album, a 9-track project titled The Grace.
I knew she was going to get the numbers, and even with the amount of money she raised, it was of no surprise. Someone coming out to say she was going to sponsor the building to the end, that is Dinah Hamilton. She exudes that love, so it's no surprise people were giving that back to her in return.
It's really a noble cause, and I entreat each and everyone to come on board, be it monetary, any assistance, a vehicle, anything that you can do. Come and help us, and God will bless you.
Big congratulations going out to VGMA Artist of the Year, Dinah Hamilton. But that's it for entertainment. I'm Anita Kirkufu. Up next, it's international news. Good evening.
Coming up, a compilation of international news.
South Africa hospital wards are jammed with patients infected with the Omicron coronavirus variant as President Cyril Ramaphosa urged South Africans on Monday to get vaccinated. In the past week, cases have reached more than 16,000, up dramatically from 2,300 last month, according to South Africa's National Institute for Communicable Diseases. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases says the increase in cases in such a short period of time is unprecedented in the trajectory of the pandemic, now in its fourth phase in the country. Dr. Farid Abdullah, who heads the South African Medical Research Council, says the surges are already happening in Johannesburg and JOHNNIE. Some 36% of South Africans are fully vaccinated, and President Ramaphosa on Monday urged citizens to get the shots. Ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been sentenced to 4 years in prison, the first in a series of verdicts that could jail her for life. She was found guilty on charges of inciting dissent and breaking COVID rules under a natural disasters law. Ms. Suu Kyi faces 11 charges in total, which have been widely condemned as unjust. She has denied all charges. She has been under house arrest since the military coup in February toppled her elected civilian government.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com, and also join me and the rest of the team tomorrow morning on 3FM 92.7 from 5:55 a.m. I am Alfred Okansi.
And I am Portia Gabo. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Good evening.
Sewu pese uku malaria yadia malaria parasite mwawa no etumi nindia kansie bia enu ntini ehia dro bete se Luzatra ne sekan wo mu ne yemienu na etumi etu malaria mwawa na se totroto Luzatra etumi ni malaria mwawa ni disia ni blow by blow enu nti uhia Luzatra kwa active ingredient mienu na enu nti malaria parasite no etumi nandan ne ho se no ya da no for Luzatra ne you malaria yadia ni furu ansa na obefa malaria dro bia no emra no kire se esese okoye test na ohu se malaria mwawa no wo mujam FDA ahwehwe sa adwadie nkratoi agye atum se eya Luzatra kutia malaria yade blow by blow blow by blow blow by blow.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
This program is brought to you by
Cowbell, our milk.
Yumvita, Lanti soy milk.